Alright, you wanna tie up this case? Finish it all once and for all? Now then, let's continue with the trial of Mr. Terry Falls. Witness, are you feeling better? She literally killed the dude. We kinda proved it, you know. Yes, Your Honor. I'll try my best. You're a brave young lady. Not this again. I can understand a defense lawyer wanting to get her client off the hook. However, to try to pin the crime on an innocent student is... What are you talking about? My witness is not the person on trial here. He is an innocent bystander who witnessed a violent crime. That's all. Now, what possible reason would a girl like this have for murdering a policewoman? If she is the policewoman's sister and they stole a diamond or something. Maybe. It is certainly hard to imagine this woman as a murderer. Her motive, huh? I figured that's what I had to establish next. Well, Miss Faye, do you have any evidence of a motive? Yes, of course. I think. I don't think. Ha! You're still acting as tame as a kitten. Kitten? Mr. Armando. Oh, here's where she gets her line. Listen, a lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. No. Smiling on the outside while your guts are twisted in knots is the mark of a pro. Maybe so, but I wish you would quit grinning at me like that. Excuse me. May I speak, Mr. Judge? Of course, Mr. Judge is ready anytime you like. I'd like to say something. Some people here are suspicious of me, right? That's why I at least wanted you, Mr. Judge, to know that it's not true. Okay, come on. I see. You're such an honest and upstanding young lady. Don't believe that. It looks like this witness is a real professional. What do you mean? Look at that 100-watt smile. Just when things are darkest for her, click, she lights right up. Very well then, let's hear what the witness has to say. Melissa Foster's history. I was out of the country until the year before last. Maybe. Until I entered college, I had never even been to Eagle Mountain before. That might be false. And I certainly don't have any reason for wanting to hurt a police officer. Holding a grudge and killing the officer who testified against you 5 years ago. Or kidnapping a poor girl. I just think the defendant is a terrible, horrible monster. Incredible. Out of the country, eh? Precisely. Furthermore, she has no possible motive for committing murder. Indeed. You're up to bat, kitten. Sharpen those claws and put on your best smile. You bet. Somehow I have to tie her to this case. Yeah, we can. She has been to the mountain before, but how do we prove it? How do we prove she is the sister? I was out of the country until the year before last. Hold it. So, what country were you living in then? We were all living abroad, but after my parents were killed, it was a brutal civil war. She had to try to make her way back home alone. I lost everything. I didn't even have any personal identification. Okay. What kind of sob story is this? Judge is probably buying it. What do I do? Should I press her for details? Hell yeah, press her harder. Obviously a lie, she was on the bridge. That's why she's hiding her identity. Witness, answer my question. I'll even repeat it for you. What country were you in?
Objection!
What objection? Your Honor, this line of questioning is childish. What country she was in and how many languages she may speak are irrelevant here. What we are here to evaluate is whether this witness has any connection to this case. True. I have lived abroad ever since I was a little girl. That's why I could never have known Mr. Flaws or Detective Hawthorne. Yes, I think we've established that point. Yes, indeed. Well then, shall we add what you've just stated to the official testimony? Thank you, Judge. Yes, please, Mr. Judge. Naturally, I didn't know either the victim or the defendant. Okay. Who didn't know either person? Are you certain of that? Yes, I'm afraid I'm rather shy around people. Oh well, that can't be helped. Why is he just agreeing with everything that comes out of her mouth? Perk of being pretty, I guess. The first time you saw either of them was when they were on the bridge, correct? Yes, it really was a coincidence. Until I entered college, I had never even been to Eagle Mountain before. So she has been there before, from college. So what made you decide to go to Eagle Mountain anyway? I just love being outdoors, picnics, hiking, you know, that sort of thing. How are you paying for college, by the way, if you have nothing remaining? You don't look like much of a hiker to me, but you do look like a digger of sorts. She's a gold digger. Come on. But Eagle Mountain is a 2-hour drive from here and no trains run through there. There are plenty of mountains that are closer and easier to get to. Well, I went there once with the college hiking club. I fell in love with its stark, desolate beauty and its cold yet romantic gloominess. Didn't know you were such a goth. By the way, what's the name of your college? Oh, come on, again. The prosecution objects to any questions that involve the witness's private life. No, so she doesn't have any details. All that matters is that she is a material witness to a crime. The witness doesn't need to respond to questions that are clearly malicious in interest. Thank you. She's really gone too far to ask what college you study in. Miss Faye, you're treading on thin ice here. I hardly said anything. Talk about sensitive. No, of course she doesn't have a backstory clear. And I certainly don't have any reason for wanting to hurt a police officer. Perhaps, but your behavior that day was very suspicious. Not only have you contradicted yourself here in court, but you know things you shouldn't. For example, the scratches on the trunk of the car. Well, that's... Oh, come on, Edgeworth. Unfortunately, Miss Faye, your last statement proves nothing. Oh, really? And why is that? The witness came to the police station once to identify the suspect. It's entirely possible that, at that time, an officer showed her this photo. That seems like a rather serious mistake. Ha! That's the oldest trick in the prosecutor's book. That's not fair. That wicked inmate. I'll never be able to forget that horrible day. Holding a grudge and killing the officer who testified against you 5 years ago. How do you know on face value? A grudge? Well, the policewoman's testimony was crucial, wasn't it? Crucial in getting the defendant sentenced to death. Yes, and that's precisely why he harbored such a deep anger against her. So much anger that he forgot his own guilt. No, but my client has always maintained that he is innocent of those charges. Seems rather forgetful. Your client, I mean. No. Not only did he forget about what he did, but he forgot the poor policewoman as well. How do you know that? What do you mean by that? Your client. He forgot what the detective looked like, right? It's too bad for her that he didn't forget about her testimony as well. Well, she's right about that. Mr. Flaws is kind of forgetful. Keep pressing, let's see. You said he forgot what the detective looked like. What did you mean by that? How did you know about the note? Well, he couldn't tell who she was without some kind of identification, right? Quite right. That's why the victim was wearing a scarf as identification. Why, if I had been wearing a white scarf that day, then he probably would have tried to kill me. That is true. He's clearly a bitter man. This is bad. Mr. Flaws' reputation just keeps getting worse and worse. Sometimes it's best not to poke too deep. What should I do with the last statement? Have it added, why not? Your Honor, what the witness said just now was tremendously important. I'd like it added to the official testimony. They go, whatever, man, I don't care. The prosecution has no objection. After all, the defendant is a killer and a mentally unbalanced one at that. That testimony only helps to further prove that point. No, that's not why I... Enough. Witness, if you would. My pleasure, Mr. Judge. I guess I'm lucky I wasn't wearing a white scarf. Good. What do you mean by lucky? Well, it's February now. Everyone is wearing scarves. If I had accidentally worn a white scarf like he said, then you yourself might have been killed. That would have been a terrible loss for this world. Ha! It looks like you pressed too hard this time, kitten. Mr. Armando, what? Keep looking around you and you're going to lose sight of the finish line. Justice is blind, but she is not deaf. Sometimes you have to know when not to talk. But that didn't hurt me though. Yeah, whatever. Who cares, right? I didn't get a penalty. Or kidnapping a poor girl. I just think the defendant is a terrible, horrible monster. Hold it. You knew about that incident. But weren't you out of the country until the year before last? Well, I saw a report about the escaped convict on the news. They had an in-depth report about his whole history. So you were still living abroad 5 years ago, is that right? Yes. I can't let her get away with these lies. Listen to me, she's neck deep in this whole thing. Somehow you're just going to have to get her to show the court her true self. That's it, okay. You're out of the country until the year before last. She did not know either the victim or the defendant. That's what she says. For Dahlia. Valerie's younger sis, Dahlia, victim of kidnapping murder, fell from bridge, no body found. And this thing says talk to Dahlia, tell her this time, the whole truth must come out. I've never been to Eagle Mountain before, and I certainly don't have any reason of wanting to hurt a police officer. Holding a grudge and killing the officer who testified against you 5 years ago, I guess I'm lucky I wasn't wearing a white scarf. Or kidnapping a poor girl, I just think the defendant is a terrible, horrible monster. I guess I'm lucky I wasn't wearing a white scarf. How did you know about the confidential police matter? Literally says it's confidential.
Objection!
How do you know? It's true, Mr. Flaws did give instructions to Valerie Hawthorne about their meeting. The note that she left said, wear white scarf for identification. Yes, what about it? Isn't it obvious? Doesn't it strike you as odd? That note was a secret piece of evidence. How is it that the witness knows about it? Exactly. Ah, how do you know about the scarf? Order, order. It is odd, isn't it? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, did you show top secret evidence to the witness? Your Honor, I certainly never gave anyone permission to do such a thing. In that case, the only way she could have known about the note would be just a moment. Of course I didn't know about the note. It's just, I saw it when it happened, with my own eyes. When the victim went to see the killer, she used her own scarf to signal him. That's why I assumed that the signal was a white scarf. I suppose that makes sense. Come on, Mia, you can't let her weasel out of it that easily. And we won't, probably, but first, Dave. Witness! Sorry, but your explanation isn't going to work here. But why? It's true. That's what I saw. Impossible. There's no way you could have seen the victim use a white scarf to signal him. Because the scarf is not white. It isn't white. You've said several times in your testimony that the victim was wearing a scarf. A white scarf, correct? Yes. Is something wrong? Flick. That's what I'd like to know, Miss Foster. Have a look at this. It's the victim's scarf. Ah! I'm sure people would disagree about what to call this color. However, it certainly is not white. You knew what the note said. You knew the contents of the note? No. Yep. It says wear white scarf for identification. Now Edgeworth is getting stressed. That's the reason why you said it was white. Well, Miss Foster? No. We're getting her. Order. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm waiting for an explanation. I'm quite sure this note wasn't leaked to the public. And yet, this witness knew exactly what the note said. At the time of the murder, the number of people that knew were quite limited. Terry Flaws is one. The person who wrote the note, Valerie Hawthorne, is another. And finally, one more person. Did you say one more person? That's right. A person that no one would have suspected. Her sister, right? Have you figured it out, kitten? Yep. The third person that knew the contents of the note was Dahlia Hawthorne, deceased. And that person is Dahlia Hawthorne. Dahlia Hawthorne? I've never heard that name before. Look at the victim's note. This is what it says. Talk to Dahlia. Tell her this time. There is her name right there. What's this? So who is this person? This Dahlia Hawthorne. She's dead. Sigh. Miss Faye must be desperate if she's trying to bring the dead back to life. You know, she can actually do that. The dead. Dahlia Hawthorne was the victim's deceased younger sister. She was killed in a crime 5 years ago. Killed in a crime? You don't mean... Yes, she was kidnapped and killed by Terry Flaws. No, she was not. Flick. You said she was killed, but was she really? What are you implying? Of course, people thought she had died 5 years ago. When she fell off of Dusky Bridge and was lost in the Eagle River. However, her corpse was never found. Objection! Good. She was declared legally dead 5 years ago. As far as the law is concerned, Dahlia Hawthorne is officially dead. Objection! Nope. But the fact remains that her body was never recovered. Dahlia Hawthorne was 14 years old 5 years ago. If she was still alive, she would be 19 now. Melissa Foster. I believe that's the same age you are. Ah! Objection! Objection. Even you couldn't. Miss Faye, you're not saying... Click again. But I am. That's precisely what I'm saying. This witness before us is the girl that was kidnapped and killed 5 years ago. This girl is in fact Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. What? Ha! Nice work. That was like tossing a grenade into a 3-alarm fire. But unless you can tie all the loose ends together, you are nothing but a hit-and-run arsonist. I understand. If I can expose her true nature, I can turn this whole case on its head. Now is my chance to make Mr. Edgeworth squirm. He's thinking. Can he bang? Witness, just who are you anyway? It's so loud. I didn't think it would come to this. That's enough. You don't have to say any more, witness. Yes, I understand. What? Mr. Edgeworth, explain yourself. Your Honor, I have an admission to make. I honestly never thought the defense would pursue the matter this far. He knew. You don't. You don't mean... He knows. Yes, the prosecutor's office isn't filled with fools, you know. Naturally, we conduct full background checks on all of our witnesses. What did he say? Ha! It looks like the kid knew. He knew her true identity from the get-go. No way, but then why? If you hadn't revealed her secret, he wasn't going to say anything about it. All he wanted was her testimony, so he made a little trade. Let me introduce you to the victim's younger sister, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. But, I thought she died 5 years ago. Also, his last crime then is nothing, right? It's none. We thought so as well, but, well, as you can see, why? Why did she hide her identity for 5 years? That has nothing to do with the current case. She was merely an accidental witness to a crime. Her sister's crime? Come on. Accidental? I don't believe that for a minute. For the last 5 years, she's been playing the role of victim. And now we find her acting suspiciously at the scene of another murder? Objection! What objection again? Really, Miss Faye, I must say your strategy here is painfully obvious. You're trying to pin your client's crime on an innocent witness in order to win. At any cost. That's what you're doing. How dare you? Please, let us take a moment to think. 5 years ago, this girl was kidnapped and nearly killed. But even worse than that, 5 years later, Dahlia Hawthorne lost something much more precious, her big sister, who she killed herself. Miss Faye must be insane to even suggest that she murdered her. What? I am inclined to agree with the prosecutor's logic. Miss Faye, do you have any evidence to back up your assertion? I mean, I have the diamond, the gemstone. What possible reason would this witness have for killing her beloved sister? Well, you see, I thought I was winning, but somehow he's turned it around on me. Ha! I think you need a little push in the right direction, kitten. The defense is prepared to present evidence supporting our claim. Elizabeth is not that stunned, she's scared. I'm stunned, kinda, right? Ah! That wasn't me. It was this guy, this crazy coffee addict. Objection! Here's an objection. I think we've heard enough empty threats from you, old man. Now he's old apparently, I mean he's older. Ha! What makes you think they're empty, boy? Because your protege looks like she's sweating bullets. Ah, I am sweating bullets. You think you're in a tough spot, huh? Of course, aren't I? No, you've just arrived at the moment of truth, that's all. Whether you win or lose, that's up to you. Up to me? Sigh. The rashness of youth, how charming. This coming from someone younger than me. Now then, let's not waste any more time. Miss Faye. Save. What motive would this witness have for murdering her own sister, Valerie Hawthorne? The truth must come out. She wanted the truth to come out. It says in the note. The story starts after Terry Flaws escaped. He called Valerie and told her he wanted to meet. This is the note, Sheila. It says, talk to Dahlia. Tell her this time. The whole truth must come out. Valerie Hawthorne gave Dahlia a warning. She told her she was going to reveal to the world the whole truth. The whole truth. There was a dangerously important secret between Valerie and Dahlia. That's the reason Dahlia felt she had to kill Valerie. To keep her mouth shut permanently. Objection. A terrific story, Miss Faye. If you like fiction, that is. Enlighten the court, Miss Faye. What was this secret that was so important? The diamond? Or the whatever, the gem? Where's your evidence? Dahlia and Valerie Hawthorne and Terry Flaws. There's only one important secret that connects them all. Oh yes, I know this secret. Your Honor, the defense would like to request further testimony. What testimony? Regarding the kidnapping 5 years ago. We believe it will explain a lot of things, such as the nature of the important secret between the Hawthorne sisters. Ah, very well. I'll grant your request for further testimony. I know it will be painful for you, but can you enlighten us once more, my little maple leaf? Great, because he's from Canada. Yes, I'll try, Mr. Judge. Putting on the old charm one more time, Dahlia. But this will be the last time you hide behind your womanly wiles. Right. Testimony. 5 years ago, witness testimony. Let's do it. Finally. 5 years ago, I was kidnapped by Mr. Flaws because you told him to do it. He had hair back then. The ransom prize was a raw diamond. My sister Valerie brought it to the bridge. After she made the exchange, she shot Mr. Flaws in the arm. That's when Mr. Flaws tried to kill me by shoving me off the bridge from behind. I survived, but I was afraid I might be kidnapped again for my family's money. So I decided to change my identity and start a new life. The kidnapping left her emotionally scarred. With her sister's help, she left the Hawthorne family and started all over again. And we are to believe, after all that, she murdered her sister. Preposterous. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Faye? Yes, Your Honor? As you've heard, the witness is still traumatized from the kidnapping. I'll ask you again to be extremely gentle in your cross-examination. Mr. Edgeworth got the jump on me again. Yeah, he knows everything, usually. That's how it works. Ha! If you're not allowed to fight, then let's twist some arms. Listen up, we've still got that info. That ace up our sleeve. What info? Come on, kitten. Don't say you've forgotten already. The fact that the kidnapping 5 years ago was staged. Yep. That's right, it was a fake kidnapping. Terry Flaws told us that in the lobby. I do anything she says, anything Dahlia says. What you're saying is that the kidnapping 5 years ago was planned by... Yeah, me and Dahlia, and Valerie too. Yes, that's it. The fake kidnapping is your best shot, Mia. That's her secret. Obviously, do we actually not know about this? We have not forgotten. I'm not dumb. 5 years ago, game. Alright. 5 years ago, I was kidnapped by Mr. Flaws. He might penalize me for even pressing. So, okay. Did you and Mr. Flaws have a relationship? Yes. Yes, as a tutor. You were tutoring him, Mr. Flaws. No, of course not. Don't be ridiculous. Mr. Flaws came to the house to tutor me. That makes sense. 5 years ago, she was only 14. He probably came up with the kidnapping plan during that time. The Hawthorns are in the jewelry trade and are quite wealthy, you see. Quite the clever fellow, that Mr. Flaws. Did I hear him right? Did he just call Mr. Flaws a clever fellow for kidnapping? Come on, Judge. The ransom prize was a raw diamond. My sister Valerie brought it to the bridge. Hold it. I heard the diamond is valued in the neighborhood of $2 million. $2 million? It was still uncut, so it was about the size of a pint of milk. A $2 million pint of milk. I don't know what to think about that. The defendant demanded that her sister, Valerie, make the exchange. Not as a detective, of course, but as an individual. By the way, I want to ask you, Mr. Edgeworth. Why do you think he wanted to make the exchange up there on that mountain? If he ever got surrounded, it would be hard to escape. There's one thing a kidnapper wants to prevent, and that's police involvement. In a place like that, it would be easy to tell if he was being followed. With only one entrance to the mountain, he was ensuring his safety. What a wickedly clever man that Mr. Flaws is. Yeah, right. It was all your plan. Anyway, Valerie brought the diamond to the mountain and after she made the exchange, she shot Mr. Flaws in the arm. Hold it. That was a dangerous thing to do considering you were being held hostage. Yes, but actually that saved my life. What do you mean? You see, Mr. Flaws was holding a knife in his right hand. Somehow I just knew he was going to use it. I knew he was going to use that knife to kill me. Oh. That's why my sister shot him. It was to save me. That's when Mr. Flaws tried to kill me by shoving me off the bridge from behind. I'd like to hear more about what happened right at that moment. Well, when Mr. Flaws was shot in the right arm, he let go of me. I was dazed. I turned to try it and run away, but Mr. Flaws turned to grab me as well. As I ran past, he and I locked eyes for a second, and he gave me a large, bloodthirsty grin. A bloodthirsty grin. Ooh. And in the next instant, he was falling down. I advised the court to remember that the river is 18 feet deep and incredibly swift. I was a strong swimmer, but I was knocked out. When I came to, I had been carried away by the river to a strange place. I'll never forget that day. The crumbling bridge, nowhere to run. Then just one little shove from behind, and that was it. Before my sister could catch me, I fell into the river. There was the diamond this time. I survived, but I was afraid I might be kidnapped again for my family's money. And that's why you hid your identity? Yes, I only told my sister. Valerie Hawthorne, eh? Yes, she is the only one who knew about me. Meanwhile, legally, this witness has been deceased for 5 years. I didn't ever want something like that to happen to me again. Okay. So I decided to change my identity and start a new life. Hold it there. And that new identity was Melissa Foster, right? Yes, my sister helped me get the official paperwork taken care of. That makes sense. Without an insider's help, doing all the paperwork would have been impossible. She was the only person left in the world I could count on. And you think I killed her? There's no way I could. It's the moment of truth for this witness too. Once the truth about this staged kidnapping comes out, everyone in the court will know how much of a Jezebel she really is. I have just got to prove that kidnapping was a hoax. Okay? Well, we have to prove where the diamond is. It's still with her. The ransom price was a raw diamond. What does the evidence say? Lost to Eagle River 5 years ago. Used as a ransom and lost to Eagle River. So I survived.
Objection!
But you had the diamond. It's wrong. Contradict this evidence.
Objection!
The diamond. Now what do you think of the witness's statement? What? That's when Mr. Floss had to kill me. I survived, but hit him and hurt his life. What have I not used yet? Bridge unchanged for 5 years. Okay, you tried to run.
Objection!
That is the thing that we need to worry about? No? Man, I don't know.
Objection!
After she made the exchange. What the hell? Fell from the bridge. College student. Hot lawyer, my senior and rival. Police officer and the victim, the key witness in the case against Floss 5 years ago. My client sentenced to death 5 years ago, escaped from custody 2 days ago. After she made the exchange, that's when Mr. Floss tried to kill me by shoving me off the bridge from behind. I survived.
Objection!
Unchanged for 5 years? Does that make a difference? It doesn't. Where do I use this evidence then?
Objection!
The diamond? Bro, the diamond is useless?
Objection!
I don't get it. What am I supposed to do?
Hold it!
Hold it again. Did you ever have a relationship? As a tutor, he was tutoring her. Ransom price of the diamond. Married in the neighborhood of $2 million. Uncut pint of milk. An individual buy up there. There's only one entrance with ensuring his safety. What about the bridge? The bridge which only had one way to go.
Objection!
That's the problem? That's not a problem apparently.
Hold it!
Shot in the arm. Dangerous thing. Actually that saved my life. What do you mean? Holding a knife in his hand. I just knew he was gonna kill me. He shot to save me.
Hold it!
I have to hear more about what happened at the moment. He let go of me. I was dazed, he ran, locked eyes, left the cigarette next instant. Fallen down. Okay. I mean, if I look at the map, we see the broken part. Ah! Is that the thing?
Objection!
She could not have been shoved off the broken part. You say that Mr. Floss pushed you into the Eagle River. However, that's hard to believe. But it's true. I felt a push on my back. I'm certain of it. It was Mr. Floss. He would have hit the rocks. Click. Nope. I'm sorry. I guess I wasn't clear enough. I shouldn't have said, that's hard to believe. I should have said, that's impossible. Impossible. I ask that the court recall the condition of Dusky Bridge now and 5 years ago. That bridge hasn't changed one bit in these last 5 years. If someone had pushed you from behind as you have claimed, instead of being carried away by the river, you would have been smashed by the bedrock below. A most certain death. Oh. Do you understand now, Dahlia Hawthorne? The very notion that my client pushed you from behind is impossible. Oh.
Objection!
What objection now? Your Honor, this event occurred 5 years ago. Why, for all we know, the water level in the river may have been higher back then.
Objection!
Nope, apparently. But it's 40 feet from the bridge to the river. A small change in the water level wouldn't have made a difference. That's... You're right. If the events occurred just as the witness has testified, then the defendant couldn't have pushed the witness into the river. Young lady, what is the meaning of this? You see,
Objection!
Oh, he's saving him? Just a moment, Your Honor. Oh, he's panicked. It's true that the witness testified that the defendant pushed her into the river. However, she never stated that she fell from the back end of the bridge. What? What do you mean? He pushed her over the side? After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Floss panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge. If that's true, she would have fallen into the river. Well, Miss Hawthorne, is Mr. Edgeworth's explanation correct? It has to be, right? Now that you mention it, I do remember now, when I fell off the bridge. My skirt got caught on one of the bridge's side wires. You can't be serious. Order! Order in the court. So, simply explain. It seems Miss Faye's assault has finally reached its conclusion.
Objection!
Not now, Mia. This is no time to retreat. Unfortunately for you, this is just the start of Miss Faye's assault. What? I believe your reasoning went something like this, Mr. Edgeworth. After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Floss panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge. However, once again, I'm forced to say that's impossible. Is it because of the bridge is too high to be pushed off? Oh, it's way too high. Yeah, you're not getting pushed off there. Ridiculous. What's so impossible about it? Because your flawed logic contradicts the court record. Look at the side barrier, bro. It's so high. Your Honor, all of the answers are right here in this photo. Take a look at the wires supporting both sides of the bridge. They extend up to about 5 feet off the ground. It would be impossible to push someone off from there. No!
Objection!
What objection? But let's remember the size and strength of the defendant. Wires like this wouldn't be a problem for him. Could have easily picked up a 14-year-old girl and thrown her over. He was shot in the arm.
Objection!
No, he couldn't have. So young and already so forgetful, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Flaws had been shot in the right arm. Ah! And more importantly, Valerie Hawthorne had her gun trained on him at point blank range. Ugh. Click. So, Mr. Flaws throwing the witness off the bridge. That is clearly impossible. Wow. Order, order. What is the meaning of this? Dahlia Hawthorne. You jumped into the Eagle River intentionally. What? What is this? Tiger? Why is a tiger here? Objection? Indeed, what do you mean by such a ridiculous remark? Yes, it's ridiculous. My sister was there to help me. She had her gun and handcuffs. She could have saved me. Jumping into a raging river like that, that would have been suicide.
Objection!
Oh. Perhaps, but still, that's exactly what you did. You were probably confident that you could handle the swift current. But even more so, the witness had a much more compelling reason for jumping into the river.
Objection!
I know what it is. Oh, then what was it? What was so important that she'd want to jump into the river? The witness is still alive. This fact alone explains everything. This is why she risked her life by jumping into the rapids of the Eagle River. The diamond. 5 years ago. Something else disappeared along with Dahlia that day. The item that Valerie brought up the mountain with her. The $2 million diamond. Oh. No, it can't be. Yes, Dahlia had it all planned from the beginning. The $2 million, she was going to keep it all for herself. So why did she shoot him? She forced Mr. Flaws to help her fake the kidnapping. Bang. And then she dived off. At the last minute, she betrayed him and threw herself into the river, with the ransom tucked away safely in her backpack. Oh, now she reveals her true self. Why that? That's simply ridiculous. Order, order, order. Objection again. Your Honor, 5 years ago, the witness was only 14 years old. Do you really think a 14-year-old is capable of such a demonic plan? This woman is a demon. And there was one more person who helped make a demon out of her. Oh? Save, please. Her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. She shot at her. You mean the victim was involved in the kidnapping plot as well?
Objection!
Yes, she was. But she was a detective then. You're saying she participated in her sister's kidnapping? Precisely. I'm sure that it weighed heavily on her conscience for the past 5 years. This is the sole reason behind the victim's murder. What do you mean by that? On the day of the murder, after receiving the phone call from Mr. Flaws, Valerie called her sister Dahlia. And then she told her what she was planning to do. Planning to do? She was going to tell the whole truth, as she wrote in her note. Yep. That is what sealed Valerie Hawthorne's fate. That is when you hatched your demonic plan to kill two birds with one stone. A plan that would ensure neither of your accomplices to the kidnapping would talk. And that is why you killed your sister, Valerie Hawthorne. Now her demonic face will be revealed. The judge is stunned. Hee. Who is that? Laughing at a time like this. It's her. Yep, true. Self-revealed. Forgive me, it's just hilarious. The witness? Is that you? You amuse me, woman. Miss Mia Fey. Oh. You can certainly weave an exciting tale. Naturally, you have the evidence to back it up, don't you? Evidence? Evidence that I planned the kidnapping, of course. That at 14 I plotted it with Mr. Flaws and my sister. Well, is that how she gets off of the thing? And one more thing. What happened to the $2 million diamond? If you can't provide evidence to at least show that. Well, Miss Fay, I don't know. She went to college. What a joke. You, Miss Fay. Are you stupid or something? How can I prove a fake kidnapping that happened 5 years ago? I don't even have decisive proof of Valerie Hawthorne's murder. Well, it seems that we've come to the end. To be honest, the witness's behavior does raise certain suspicions. However, I am forced to reject the assertions made by the defense. Of course you are. Oh, moment of truth. Is this it? Is it really over? That girl has made a fool of me and there's nothing I can do about it. Ha! Without evidence, the trial is over. Who decided that? Mr. Armando. Come on now, kitten. Haven't you figured out that you can make your own rules? For example, even if there's no evidence, there's still testimony. Testimony? On the day in question, Dahlia Hawthorne murdered her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. She hid her body in the trunk of Mr. Flaws' stolen car and then went to meet with him. Disguised as her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. That's what you think, right? Yes, that's right. In that case, there's only one answer, right? There is only one person left who can testify about Valerie Hawthorne's murder. Since there's no proof, there's only one thing left to do. Call on my client. Who is the one person who can testify to that demon woman's crimes? Terry Flaws? Your Honor, the defense wishes to call a new witness. A new witness? Yes, we would like to hear the testimony of Terry Flaws. The defendant? There's only one person that can shed any further light on the situation. Only one person that knows what Dahlia's role in the kidnapping was. Only one person that can say whether the person in the photo is Valerie Hawthorne, or whether it was in fact her younger sister Dahlia disguised as her. There's only one person who can solve this riddle once and for all. And that person is Terry Flaws. Yep. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what is your take on this? He doesn't care. Why not? The prosecution has no objection. Very well. Bailiff, bring the defendant to the witness stand. This is it. This is my last chance, Mr. Claus. My last chance to establish Dahlia's guilt. You're all I have left. Why was she not using her Magatama? She has it around her neck. Defendant, you've heard everything that's been said up to this point, yes? I don't believe it. No way. Dahlia died 5 years ago. Valerie betrayed me. Mr. Flaws. I don't know what she said to you 5 years ago, but one thing is clear. Dahlia is very much alive. And you were used for $2 million. That's not true. Mr. Flaws, there's only one question I want the answer to. 2 days ago on Dusky Bridge, who did you meet? Was it Valerie Hawthorne or was it Dahlia Hawthorne? Dahlia, did you betray me? 5 years ago she promised never ever betray each other. Terry. Dahlia. It's true. You are alive. You don't trust me anymore. That makes me sad. Tell the truth, the real truth. I believed in you. I shouldn't need to say it. You should already know. Oh. But there is one thing that I will say. My life is in your hands right now, Terry. She's freaking what do they call not modifying, manipulating him again. Dahlia. Great. I will allow Mr. Flaws to testify once and only once. Well then, Mr. Flaws, yours will be the final testimony in this trial. Witness. Yeah. Eek. I'm sorry. I apologize. Wow, what the hell? The water. Please, water. Can't talk. Need water. Ha! Oh well, I guess it'll have to be my coffee instead. At least it'll match the way he's probably feeling right now. Darker and bitterer than hell itself. Bitterer is not a word, I think. Wow! Alright, witness testimony. Who Terry Flaws saw. That day, 4 PM, I stopped the car. I was in front of the bridge, okay. We're gonna stop here. Next one will definitely be the last one. I'm really thinking so because most of the loose ends are tied up. Very little thing left. So this will be done. And then we move on to the last case of the last game of the trilogy. Anyway, see you then.